Back to this second part of this tutorial of this bird drawing. The bird, colorful bird on a twig, that's what I call it. So if you remember, well, you don't have to remember, it's just been practically a few minutes ago. You'll see that I went really close to this. I stuck to my line brush, 2.4%, and then I went really close to this wings part, this part of the section, and I created all these different textures, trying to replicate the textures or the color or the tones of this bird here. See? The picking the colors and picking the tones. Right? That's all we did. And we'll probably continue the same journey. And this is just to show you what tonal coloring is all about. So color picker, keep this halfway, just above the halfway point, and then look at this. This is a tone that you can grab right away. And there's another adjacent tone, a white tone. And if you want to get really close, you can. Look, let's pick that brown tone here. Let's not take the blue to the next region if we can help it. See that there? So what I'm doing is I'm just basically tuning my brain into seeing these lovely tones that make up the whole image. Look, and then while we're doing that, we can correct some of the mistakes with the bigger brush. Look at this. Now you can tell right away. What have we got here? Right. See what we've got here. So if you want to, this is what I'm going to show you next. The next sort of a loose technique for getting to improve your own drawing. Giving you the freedom of choosing your color picker. Oh, excuse me for a while, yeah. Getting you to choose the right tones for the right job, yeah. So when it comes to freehand drawing, you can become really accomplished at the whole thing. So look what we have here. We have this dark, and then we know for a fact that I can pick up this color tone here, and then I'm just going to draw that dark tone here. So I got it halfway so I can see the reference image and get that out the way, okay? And now what do we got here? Well, we've got this lovely white bit, so let's do that then. Right there, okay? Lovely white, yeah? And then we got this little dark area here, just put that there. That's all. And then we got this lighter brown area. So notice what I'm doing. I'm just using this big buttons left and right, clicking on it, and you'll see it swing to one direction to the other. Reference image, your drawing. Reference image, your drawing. Believe me, it's a very powerful way of trying to see your drawing and then the reference image, your drawing, and then the reference image, your drawing, and then the reference image, okay? So you can now see what colors you have to choose. So don't worry if your drawing is quite crude by my standards, but, I got here because I practiced, didn't I? Eventually you're going to get as good as me or even better. Right? I'm not too worried if people get better than me because I can focus on building something, other things are even greater. So here, at least I've shown people the ability to take skills. See that? Oh, lovely. Look at that lovely black that's going all the way. So we're going to use half the trace position and get this black out the way. Is that all black? Yep, it is all black. That's exactly how we want it. So we pick the color and then just shape it, okay? It's very easy because we're not using any other color. So look, that color goes all the way down here. It may be a different black, but it's always worthwhile picking the color picker to get that. At least you don't have to guess. Yeah, so initially you don't have to guess, but when freehand drawing, you do have to guess, right? There's no way about it. Okay, so that's why you need to tune your brain more and more with this practice, this method of drawing. And believe me, I've made some fantastic photorealistic drawings because my level of understanding tones increased substantially drawing this way. And if you show your teacher, he's probably going to jump at it. Your art teacher, that is. But then you may want all the glory to yourself, right? And so what am I going to show my teacher? He doesn't have to know where I'm getting all this. He'll just assume I'm naturally skilled. Okay. But like my daughter said, sharing is caring. My daughter's taught a few things. She's 9 years old. She teaches me a lot. Have you seen these different tones here? Look at these wonderful tones here. Can you see it? You should see there's a line here, and there's a lighter region and a dark region. So we're going to capture that. Look at that. Even the brush is too big. It doesn't matter. And we captured these two colors, yeah? That's all we want. Even though it doesn't look obvious, it actually makes a whole world of difference to the final drawing, which you will see later on when we finish it. So pick up these tints. So remember, this has picked up the green around it, adjacent to it, but not this color, which is a slightly hazy part there. And then if you really want to go to this area, I'm going to change the brush size so we can focus on this area, because look, I can get this brush size to that 1.17. Look what happens. Look, I picked up these little dots here, right? This is how textures are created. You think textures are created with a brush? The same brush will create the texture. Look, I'm picking these little skirmishes of dots going on using the color picker. You'll see that I've used this method of drawing in some of my drawings as well. See, I'm picking these different and then getting away with creating this tiny, because I've reduced the brush size in order to accommodate this tiny dots. Otherwise, it would be too big. It's like saying I'm going to use a spoon the size of the pan to stir it. That's just ridiculous, isn't it? That's just an analogy, right? You would use a smaller to accommodate the pan, right? Look what I'm doing. I'm picking these colors. So I'm picking, obviously, the natural colors that exist in that area where my stylus touches or my finger touches. That's all. Look here. So this is really, and if you do want to join the team for Paintology and you enjoy this method of coloring, that's all. Sometimes that's all that's needed, and you may not be good enough, but right now, but believe me, if you keep practicing and you have that drive and passion, you'll find that you may be at a point where you can say, yeah, I think I've developed my skills quite a bit. Let me see what Paintology says. You never know, right? You're not going to know unless you got skill. Nowadays, you need skill for practically everything, right? In order to have a good job, you need a particular skill set, right? So look how we're doing this really rapidly, and then you'll see for yourself that how we've managed to improve that area. Look at that. Look how we've managed to improve the details on that. It's wonderful, isn't it? So we're going to just carry on doing that, and I hope that you're following along with me because I'm really enjoying this. So I'm going to decide if we're going to keep that 1.17 brush size. It is small, isn't it? Relative to what we picked before, right? The one we had 2.5%. But still, you will know what tones are. This is the only thing. Look at these tones. Lovely. I might increase it a bit. So you don't want to spend all day, right, mopping a floor with a tiny brush, is it? That's probably the same analogy I could use. And I'm reluctant to change the density of this because that really opens the door for a lot of things. So if you stick around for another drawing, maybe later on in the next day or so. By the way, there's no drawing tutorial tomorrow, just to let you know. Notice what I'm doing. I'm picking, these are harder to get the tones exactly. So what am I doing? I'm just basically following the line. Look at these lines. I'm just following these lines, and then I'm hoping that I'm going to pick a color that's different, and it's just going to give me the texture I'm looking for, right? These, nothing more. I'm not doing anything too complicated. Picking the color of the darker region, and then just going over it. That's all I'm doing. And look at that, getting to that beautiful yellow near the eyes. That's all I'm doing, getting these colors. See how it's changed green? This is, you can make many birds like this. You can load. This really helps you become comfortable with the digital tools, the line brush, and then you can keep experimenting. Remember, you don't have to follow exactly what I'm doing, but you have to at the beginning, since you don't know what I'm talking, since you haven't got the skills that I have. So you need to really be attentive to what I'm doing and follow along with me initially, right? You can't jump before you can walk. See, that was a darker area. You saw that clearly. This is how you tune. And now this eyes we're going to do beautifully. All right. There are also variations of the tones at this level. You may not think it is, but believe me, there are different tones going on at this small microscopic level of the eye. let's see what it looks like. Look how we've managed to do that. Isn't that wonderful how we managed to do that? So what I'm going to do is, because of time constraint, I might actually, I've got 1.5% brush size, so I'm going to go really quickly and do less talking. So I hope you're doing the same thing. Watch how I do the strokes. Right, just watch how I grab the brush and then do these tiny. So I'm going to leave it like that, but I'm going to go really rapidly. And then when it comes to a spot that I need to really focus on, I will zoom in more, okay? Let's do the beak here. So zoomed out a bit. I haven't zoomed in much, but I can zoom in as well if I want to catch the details. It's always worthwhile to yeah, I'm catching these different tones. Oops. Just get these tones right there. Just capture this here. Look at that, the white here. Then when you do this, make sure that the beak is uniform, right? And to make sure the beak is uniform and not naturally, I need to go over it like this, okay? Yeah. And don't go over it again if you can help it. Look at this, beautiful colors appearing as you do this. Look at these. So this is the exercise in tonal colors, right? So just do this really rapidly, or as much as you can, and then we'll go over it again to refine it, clean it up more, right? The first pass isn't where the drawing is done at all. Don't forget to color it in there. Right there. Look, the big brush is left. It's almost like waves, isn't it? And it is going to leave like a wave because we used a really big brush. And this is what happens when we get close. We can really refine it. Don't worry about the little bits you might have missed. Just general. Get the general color. Look here. Look how I'm following the strokes. That's why I'm pretty good at drawing out wild animals, because they have a third that follows the same direction. Just look at that blue. It's beautiful blue that comes out. Just like that. So all these variations as tone is what gives it dimension, shape, form, right? It's working really rapidly now. Sometimes when you don't have to think, right? actually helping you. I don't know if you've done these speed drawings. It's very much like that. But then again, you're having this is a form of speed drawing, but then again, you're aligning yourself to a reference image, which is all that vital to good drawing, because you're keeping in mind what the colors are changing, the tones that change. I'll switch to a beautiful color like that. Look at that. It's lovely, isn't it? So this is basically a different method I'm using, but it's very similar. It's nothing really vastly different to what I'm used to drawing, but I'm using more of that smaller brush. Right. Let's see where we are now. Look how quickly we did that, isn't it? It's incredible, isn't it? We're going to finish this in record time. So I've been told to save this, so because I'm working with a prototype app that's due for release in perhaps in a few weeks. Oops, what am I going to community? My paintings. So I'm just racing ahead, okay? And you should do the same. I want to keep it at 1.5%. I don't want to complicate things, right? I like this 1.5%, even though it's taking longer, right? Every now and then I'm picking this. Every now and then. If you're looking the simple way out to doing things, honestly, you're not really interested in becoming good at drawing. You probably have other things in mind, because there's a lot of people who want to cover a lot of things and try a lot of things, but not necessarily become skilled at it, just for the sheer pleasure of it. It depends on how our mind works. But me, if I'm going to pick up a skill, I want to be good at it. I don't like doing things in half measures. I'm assuming they're the same tones, that's why I'm taking it across like that. And then when I come back to it, I'm picking another tone. That's what gives it different shapes. Every time I come back to it, I know I'm going to pick a different color, and that's what gives it the beauty of this tonal drawing. It's not me picking the color, it's allowing my color picker to pick these underlying colors, like around here. It just allows me to go really rapidly through the whole drawing. Notice I'm just following the birds. Wonderful birds. Really quickly. So actually very different to what I would do before, but that's the beauty of learning, that's what makes me like separate from other people in how I draw, and that's the reason why you watch other artists at work, because they all offer a unique style of drawing, even though you don't know how they're doing it. The process of drawing, right, which I talk about a lot. Okay. Just doing it really quickly. I want to finish this bird. I'm having a race with you guys, so I want to know where you are. Okay, so here, color picker, look at that. really helps to color picker, color picker, color picker. I don't know how this is going to come out as. Have you seen me go into digital tools for this? I'm just drawing like you would with an ink pen or something. Not doing anything different. The problem is that people, again, quick to judge without trying, and I'm not the one to judge because I can see things for what they really are after I played with it. Do you want to follow or do you want to innovate? Look at these areas. When we come here, look at that. What is that? I think that's the twig. Yes, that's it. That's the part of the twig. God, I forgot about that. I was wondering what that was, and then I realized it can't be the bird. It looks like I thought it was the under flaps of a bat. And then I quickly realized that's not the case. Just go quickly. See where the dark tones are. Just look, we've almost come up to where we left off at the other side. Look at that. Wonderful. Look how quickly we can do this. Lovely. So we see we get a nice way to perfect. Really lovely. Look at how the gradient changes. Don't think about tools when you draw. Think about how you're going to do it by hand. It took me like 4 or 5 years to get the app to where it is now, and you can make the most of it. Enjoy the benefits of the effort that went in behind it. Again, don't be too quick to judge. Try it out. If you still insist on going on tools, it's probably because you become used to it. There's one guy who kept badgering me and saying, when are you going to put layers on this? I said, you don't need layers. Why do you need layers? I use layers in Photoshop, but why would I need it in a drawing? He goes, yeah, put layers. And then I finally gave up and said, send me a drawing and I'll show you why it doesn't need layers. And he never complied. What is wrong with people? They're afraid that they might be wrong. I just asked him, send me a picture, and then I'll draw this without layers. And then he just dropped off the map. I think people like to hear their own words sometimes. Like to hear their own voice too often. Alright, there. Look how quickly we did that. Incredible. Look at that. It's lovely. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to just carry on and just finish this rapidly and then we'll refine it. Okay, I'm going to just do this so rapidly that I just follow it, get the tones that are local here, and then I'm going to have a quick break. I need a break actually because I've been working quite solid. I wish I could see what you guys are doing, but unless you post it and let me know, I'm not gonna able to critic or comment. And don't be shy, even if you're beginning out. I can tell you where you went wrong or what you need to do. Not went wrong, but what you didn't do or what you were missing out. I would like to, when you're beginning, there's no such thing as going wrong, just that you don't know. That's what the Bob Ross said, didn't he? Mistakes are happy accidents. And to me, they're not even accidents. Mistakes are learning. Or I wouldn't call it a mistake, I would say what you're doing is a learning process and you need to just take it up a little bit more, doing it this way, and then you're on it. Look how quickly I'm doing this. I'm using a quick up and down strokes. Look at that. Now we're getting to the twigs. It's just a mishmash. Believe me, just a mishmash of colors. That's all it is. Just a mishmash of colors. I mean, I could use one sweep of the brown, but I'm still continuing to use the small brush to define the colors of the twig as well. I'm not using a look at that, just going rapidly. Okay. Very rapidly. Not even thinking. These dark colors there that I want to capture. There's another dark color here. Brown color there. We don't know what we're doing. We're just laying down the colors. This is a very new approach to what I do. I wouldn't go on scribbling for so long. I would actually pay more attention to, but since I'm always a sucker for learning new techniques, so I'm going to keep plowing along here. And you should be as well. You should experiment. Part of the reasons why you see all these amazing artists, because they don't know enough way to experiment. Color picker is darker here, I could tell. So that's why I picked the color again, in case I picked the wrong. Right there. Look at that, we're almost done. Look how quick that was. The other side of the branch, that's actually slightly lighter, isn't it? There, we're almost done. In terms of, not done, but in terms of getting most of the colors down on this bird and the twig. Right, that's it. Let's see what it looks like. That's amazing how quickly we did that. And now we're going to refine it. And then you're going to think, wow, that is impressive how quickly I did this. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to have a quick 10 minutes break. Okay. So I'm going to join you after 10 minutes. Take your time to gather what you've learned. And then hopefully I'm going to start doing the tutorials if you want me to with a chat function open so you can talk about it while I'm doing the drawing. And so I'll get that in place soon. So, okay, so I'll see you in shortly in 10 minutes. I'm going to pause here. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. So, I'm going to carry on completing this drawing, and and we got to here. So we're going to ask ourselves, what's the next thing we can do to? Well, actually, I'm going to show you like a magic trick of blending, and this is unique to the Paintology app. So watch how I look at this drawing now, and watch how I bring this bird into more focus by blending out the background. So we switch to the shade brush here, and then let's keep it 100%, and let's take it to about 10-11%, yeah, and then let's pick the lighter color and then just go on the edge. See what happens? It's like magic, isn't it? This is what my daughter showed me, actually, to be honest with you. She showed me this technique of shading using the line shade brush. So the shade was there actually too, but just that I used the shade for more pencil drawing, which I wanted to show you earlier, but I didn't have time. So just shade that and watch this bird really pop out. That's what's magical about the whole thing. I'm using a sort of a rounded stroke. Rounded, and I'm still encroaching on the other area, which is fine. And then this brown I'm picking in just round strokes. Right there. And pick this color and just round it off here. And then pick the blue color. You'll be amazed at how this. And then pick this color and just round it. Pick any color. You don't have to. Just experiment. Believe me. I'm not going to be able to hold in your hand for everything. You need to experiment, for heaven's sakes. That's why the world has progressed so far, because people experiment like myself. And that's why we're able to progress in the world of digital drawing and anything. So pick that brown. Now watch what happens to that bird. Just keep watching, you'll be amazed how this bird just pops out. That's what I was really surprised when I did some of the background. Like this for some of my wildlife drawings. Did the background because I was so impressed by it. So I ended up doing it. And then, so, so I picked the same type of drawing to the just swirly round strokes. Can you see how the bird is popping out like no one's business? It's amazing, isn't it? Like magic, isn't it? And even this brown can go to that encroachment. So these harsh edges can be a distraction, but if you look at this, we make that bigger, this area, the light area, or not? pick these colours. Just go round and round. We don't know what it is. The eyes can decide what magic lies in the background. Look how this bird has popped out. Look, it's like anyone's business. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? You've got to admit that's amazing, isn't it? You can't say you've seen this every day. Because I haven't. Well, not since I've started doing this. Look at this, how I'm taking this as well. This, I'm going to round it off. And it looks like it's faded into the distance. Just faded into the distance. Let's let this darker patch come in. I hope you're having fun doing this portion of the drawing. Look how wonderful it is, isn't it? Isn't it amazing how this bird is now standing up? This could be a sort of a representative, and you can shape it if you like. You know, give the impression that there is land up there, right? Who knows? Yeah. Give the impression. And you can do all kinds of things. I mean, I'm not doing it. And I'm just saying that you can play with this. Look, it might have gone into a misted background. We all love mist. See how the bird is really like zoomed in right in front of our face. So, so that's the shading part. And how long did that take? No less than 10 minutes or less. It's wonderful, isn't it? So I'm going to save this and then open it up again, because, you know, that's what my developer tells me to do. We're working on a prototype, so just keep that in mind. So now we've got this beautiful picture of the bird on a twig. We're going to have to start doing some details. Look at these. Look at this. Here's this part. Let's try and grab this part with a smaller brush. Back to a line brush. Okay, at least we capture his it's clinging on to his dear life, isn't it? It's probably so cold out there. And so let's take this brush down, 100% line brush, and now let's go here, and then I'll do it. Then let's just pick the colors and just get the notion of these claws holding onto this twig. After all, it's the bird on the twig, isn't it? I've got less than one. I think that's the smallest brush size we've used so far. So this really will make the difference between it will really hopefully show. I'm not too bothered if we're drawing the right thing, but the reference image is providing the reference to this bird. So I'm just following along to what I know best, which is this block coloring, you know, looking for these tones, and I'm hoping that I will pick out these claws of this bird as I'm doing it in detail like this. See all this little bit. And then I don't know what we have here, but I'll just keep adding it. and then we can zoom out and see if we've got. That's why painters, when they paint on a big canvas, they always sort of go back and see what the drawing looks like. After they've made their first pass. Really capturing the tones. And you might think, how is this helping? Well, you're not going to know if you don't practice too. It helped me to make photorealistic drawings on phones. And how many people do you know actually does freehand photorealistic drawings on phones? Don't believe me, just look for the search for it. Have a look at the photorealistic drawing of the astronaut and Brad Pitt that I did, the recent ones. And before we go out, let's try and capture the other feet there. I think this is it, isn't it? It probably is. I think that's his other toes. Yes, it looks like it. So what you're seeing is a pretty unique method of drawing, which many of you may not be familiar. And in fact, some of the academics are not familiar with digital art this way because they've always been bombarded with digital art from the big guys, such as Photoshop, and that's been the de facto standard, and they think all digital drawing has to be done like that. But little do they realize that digital drawing can be close to the method of traditional drawing. I'm not talking about drawing. I'm not talking about drawing applications that throw a bunch of pens and brushes, pencils, felt tip pens. I'm talking about techniques, real techniques. Even I used Sketch was one of the closest members, but for some reason there's very few who actually knew the techniques, and I used Sketch and was doing drawings like this. And a lot of people liked it because it gave them the feel of traditional, but the problem is most people do not know how to develop the skills of drawing, the techniques, which I'm showing you here. Let's see if we've got something done quite well. Let's see if we've managed to pull off these. Yeah, there is some kind of look at these. There is some kind, right? Can you see it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get the colors and get these, because the feet is obvious. Oh gosh, I used the mistake of using the actual tone that I'm trying to block out. Right, don't go on the white that you're trying to cover mask. So if you do like I just did now, it'll pick up just go off it and then just do that. Alright, look what a mess it is, but still it works, doesn't it? Let's go over and clear these little specks that we missed while we were doing some rapid drawing, right? And then it doesn't matter if we pick the tones that are local, it'll still work. It's not like we're picking up a green color and applying it there, right? Because we're applying the local tone, which was the tone we already laid down. It makes sense when you start drawing yourself. Notice I've just used the same color. Wow, isn't that amazing? Have I got this? I want to get this right. There. Look at that, isn't it amazing? So what we could do is seems to be working. I had another approach to actually fill these colors, but I decided I'm just going to pick a color and then just get rid of these tones here. Just pick the adjacent color. I picked the white there. Alright, and then just get rid of these. And then if it's in the red, pick the red. Just get rid of these tiny, it's not going to take too long. This is that blue I want to capture, so I'm just caught the blue, and then I'm just just want to get this color. Alright, there. So get rid of these marks we left because we did it so rapidly. And notice I'm picking the local colors. I'm not picking any other, right? Like for example, this purple, I'm going to pick this purple and just go sort of covered a lot of and it seems to be working, and that's the reason why I'm sticking to this method of touching it up and clearing it up, yeah? That's nice. It's working quite. Oh, I picked that white. Did you see that? And pen got crazy here. That one, let's get that blue. Wherever you think. And then let's get that brown here and run into that area. Let's pick this pink here. That just. Where you see pink, and let's pick that light orange, deep orange. Okay. And then here you can see quite a bit going on there. The holes, gaps that we need to fill up. And we can do this so easily. That should be this color or this color, not the. Although if it's next to it, you could use it. Just take out these. Let's see what we have. Look at that. It's really working well. Look at these feathers puffed up, but we can still see granules of white, and it's worthwhile just fixing those, okay? Because we did a really good job. So we don't want to leave it in a state like this when we can really improve it, right? use one color and just go over it rapidly. It's no big deal, you can do that. Because as long as they're the same primary colors, you're right. Right, now we're getting to the bluish area, so I'm going to stick to the blue tone. Look how quickly you can do that. I picked the wrong tone. See all these minuscule dots that you can get rid of? You know, try and get rid of that, because then it will give the impression that it's not hand painted. But look closer. Look at these tones. Just get rid of this. Not tones, but I'm saying the margins are left behind because I work so rapidly. Color tone, and then got this darker tone. Could make a real big difference, I think. And then look, there's so many here. What do we need? We need that. Just get rid of it. Make a whole world of difference. I mean, you could have spent some time doing this at the beginning, so you don't have to go over it, but that's alright. Let's see what we can. Look at that. That's practically almost gone, except for tiny dots here. Tiny dots here. Let's see what we got. I think that's almost looking good. And if you want to, instead of making those white dots appear a little, this is some of the trickery you can use, and I'm going to apply it to the branch. So I'm going to finish off here. I mean, we've covered a good, practically all of it, and I think this is looking excellent. I don't know about yours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this trick, the line, and take it down to 35%. Basically, this means that if you've got an ink, if you've got, let's say, this color, or let's say this blue color, let's pick this blue, right? Oh, it's an issue here. That's a blue, right? So now if we go down, well, look at the blue tone, it's going down as well. So what that means is that when you're 100%, think of it as like an ink pen, and you have far more versatility than the ink pen that you're familiar with in the traditional material. And then if you go down halfway, let's say, you would need to develop a few strokes to get to this tone level. So it allows you like a pencil-like strokes, you know, pencil-like brushes, you know. So the lower you have it, the more brush strokes you need to achieve the tone level. So this is the same tone as the primary, but the value is so much lower, right? So you can use it as a form of developing this tone and then using the same family of tone here, this same tone, yeah? So you have to practice it. So I'm going to show you what I do. I'm going to put it at 20% and have this brush relatively large. And I'm going to show you that I'm going to pick this purple tone and watch what happens when I go over. See, I'm getting rid of these white tones, but I'm not really overpowering that area because the tones are really light, okay? So just enough to, and then same with the green. This is something I learned a few days ago, actually, to be honest with you. Right, the same with the green. No, get rid of these. And then anywhere you see the grey tone, right, just, oops, can you see I've moved the grey tone to that region, and I don't want to do that. Then darker region here, right? That's all there is. Right, it just simply, what it does, it simply just takes these colors and just keep, look how many brush strokes I'm doing, a couple of brush strokes to make sure that it's not overpowering the tone of that green color, but still, look, see what an improvement that was? This is a natural form of techniques that you've just picked up. And I pick up here again. You can see at close distance what it's doing. Right, so I'm going to take it down to do the branch, 6%. And look what happens when I do. Take that color. There. Right, and then take the dark color here. And then take it down even more. Take these sort of the white areas that are really affecting. Right, I'm picking a localized tone. There. Giving it sort of a realistic appearance. Look what the difference it made. This is the tricks you learn when you want to learn about technique. Nothing to do with tools. I'd like to think I'm a master of tools, not a servant to it. Okay, this one you see when I did this. Do you see how that line curved up? That wasn't a good thing. So you learn from that. So let's take that up and then just fade that out. Yes, so it doesn't look ugly. Right there. Okay, there you are. That is the birds that we've drawn, and let's see what we have here. It's a little too, how you can say, you'll be able to spot a lot of things. Take that, give it a little bit more depth. Now, do you see how that picks up as I'm stroking it darker there, right? Because I've got the tone at 67%. So you can go really close and then just get this where you feel that it doesn't encroach. This is an excellent way of building up the gradient, yeah? And then you have this color. Look at that, the bird's eyes, right? You can say, well, you know what, I can get this light. Why not, right? And then you can go here, this brown, look at that. Just take out some of the, without adding too much ink body to it. That makes sense. You can really go into the, in fact, this is something again new that I'm telling you right now. So hopefully you appreciate. I can go on with this. Look at that, the color is like blended in. It doesn't look too ink-like. just a way of blending the body and the bird. Here, can you see anywhere else? Do you see that color? It just grows. That's really that's what the real reality of the world. That's what I'm just showing you a few tricks that I would use when doing a photorealistic drawing. Right there. So do you see how I'm going to take that, just blend it, look how it's blending in beautifully. Right there. So it doesn't look like an abrupt end. It gives the illusion of detail, an illusion of form. Pick that color and just spread it. You'll see it makes a whole world of difference. Right? Whenever you see an object, it's not really completely abrupt. Do you know what I'm saying? Like an abrupt end to it. It gradually shades. Let's have a look. Look at that. It's almost getting so real. And then this one here, you could use some of that and then just take some of that, this lovely light color of the pink, right? And then just watch for it, how you can spread it. There, look. See, so sort of following the fur, following the feathers. See that? There. And then you could use darker to show these feathers. You can really take this far, and trust me, it will eventually look like so photorealistic you'd never be able to tell the difference. So there you are. I hope I've shown you some techniques that you can take away and learn. So let's go back to the line. Paintology, there it is. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe and please tell others of this new technique if you want to share, that is, or you want to keep it secret so nobody knows how you did the drawings. But a lot of people are beginning to wake up, understand this method of digital drawing, which is a mastery of tools, not a servant to the tools. So hopefully I'll bring another topic tomorrow, and then we could find an interesting subject to draw and show you more tech. If you look at this drawing, you see here on the tail, that could be improved as well. But in the limited time I have, I wanted to show you this, and I hope you've learned something and enjoyed the drawing, enjoyed watching it as much as I have, as watching and doing it, hopefully, and as much as I have enjoyed drawing this. So thank you very much, and hope to see you soon tomorrow. Oh, sorry, tomorrow is no tutorial, but the next day, yes. Thank you, and bye-bye.